Hello, it's been a while. Welcome to my review of the season 3 trailer and episode descriptions for The Leftovers. Okay, so that trailer. Okay, Kevin's wearing a police uniform. There's a sign that reads, "When those days expire, then the sanctuary shall be cleansed," which kind of evokes a passage of the Bible in the book of Daniel, which is a very prophetic Bible about the end of days. Matt Jameson is preaching in the trailer. Only this time he sounds like he's preaching about some kind of apocalypse. The seventh anniversary of the sudden departure is coming, so obviously some years have passed. Kevin Garvey Sr. talks about how on the seventh anniversary of the seventh departure, the rains will come and with it a great flood, and October 14th is weeks away. Tom Garvey seems to be wearing a police uniform and trying to keep the peace in a clash with the guilty remnant. Meg and Evie are still together and wearing white. It looks like police are patrolling Miracle on horseback. Lori is on a boat. Kevin gets baptized. Someone's jumping off a ship. There's an emergency in a ship. Perhaps this ship is another place, kind of like that hotel from last season. Some guy appears to be detonating a bomb. Perhaps that bomb's on the ship, which is why people are trying to get off the ship. So we could be seeing some afterlife stuff again. Matt's hitting Kevin in the head with a baseball bat near a boat. Kevin Garvey Sr. is drowning Kevin Garvey Jr. So it looks like Kevin might be dying a whole bunch of times this season. And then Nora gets that crazy phone call. So that's the trailer. And now for the descriptions. So episode 301 is titled The Book of Kevin, and it happens 3 years after Miracle was overrun by the guilty remnant. Kevin's back as chief of police, and the seventh anniversary of the sudden departure is only 2 weeks away. Many people believe that another apocalyptic event may come with it. Episode 302 is called Don't Be Ridiculous. Finds Nora back at the Department of Sudden Departures, the DSD. She travels to St. Louis to investigate a scam. Episode 303 is called Crazy White Fella Thinkin'. This one's going to be great. It's with Kevin Garvey Sr. wandering the Australian outback. I hope he's on God's tongue again. And they should totally explain that, actually. I'd love to see the whole God's tongue and what kind of crazy drugs he gets up to and kind of like what he's been doing in Australia all this time. Episode 304 is called G'day, Melbourne. Here, Kevin and Nora are traveling to Australia. Nora is tracking down the masterminds of an elaborate con, while Kevin has to face something from his past. Could this be Holy Wayne, perhaps? Patty? Who knows? Episode 305 is called It's a Matt World. So this is obviously a Matt-centric episode, and the description says that Matt tries to convince Kevin to come back to Miracle, Texas. Unfortunately, God gets in the way. Episode 306 is called Certified. This is where Lori has to become a therapist again and goes to Australia to help Nora and Kevin. And 307, the most powerful man in the world and his identical twin brother. It simply states that on a mission of mercy, Kevin assumes an alternate identity. So with that being the penultimate episode of the final season, we can only assume that episodes 7 and 8 are going to go crazy, with perhaps plenty of trips to the afterlife. So my thoughts. I don't know where this is going to go, but I fully trust the writers, and I just can't wait to see where this takes us. 8 episodes, and The Leftovers is over. So episode 1 is a miracle, but 3 years later. Episode 2 begins Nora's investigation into an elaborate scam that involves convincing the family members of the departed that there's a way to see their loved ones again. Episode 3 is crazy wandering the outback with Kevin's dad. Episode 4 takes Nora and Kevin to Australia to track down the masterminds of this scam. Episode 5 brings Matt to Australia. Episode 6 brings Laurie to Australia as a therapist once again to help Nora and Kevin. And then 7 and 8 is the end. There's a lot of boat stuff going on. I mean, Laurie's on a boat, Kevin's on a boat, Matt's hitting Kevin with a baseball bat near a boat. There's some kind of emergency on a boat. Like there's a lot of boat stuff, plus the flooding stuff, plus there's a scene of some like Amish type people who are building like some kind of church to perhaps save them, like an ark from the rains. So either this is going to go like super worldwide flooding, Noah's Ark style. Maybe it's all a big scam, but Kevin did rise from the dead, so there is some type of element of supernatural going on here. Not to mention the actual departure. Um, I welcome your thoughts. What do you think of the trailer? What do you think of the episode descriptions? Are you as excited as I am? If you want me to review each episode one by one as they air, please let me know in the comments because right now I'm just kind of speaking into the ether, and it would be super awesome if I could hear like some feedback from you all and kind of get a conversation started. So feel free to ask me questions about leftovers in general or season 3 specifically. Um, Whatever I've said in this little review right now, your own theories. Go ahead. Ask me about God's tongue. I'll even talk about that for a while. Anyway, depending on how views go, you should be hearing from me shortly. Thanks for listening.